these fine gentlemen. We all know them. This is Linus, Luke, talking about skill-based matchmaking. And I don't know, I have very strong opinions about skill-based matchmaking. I understand, like, if you're a noob or a casual who only plays for like an hour, 2 hours or so, you probably don't mind skill-based matchmaking, you know?
Headline topics today.
I don't even know what that means. I'm just terrified of it.
Skill-based matchmaking is just plain better. In response,
I don't know who, that sounds like somebody who only plays for probably like an hour or so.
to discourse condemning skills-based matchmaking, Activision has released a 25-page white paper revealing a secret experiment where they massively reduced the impact of skill in matchmaking for half of Modern Warfare 3 players in North America. According to their results, around 90% of players had lower overall playtime and were more likely to quit during matches, with only the most skilled of players being unaffected by the change. Now, hold on, because I want to back up and say, other than reading the words together and
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's go ahead and talk about it. For your below average player, the person who only plays for like an hour or two a day, do they feel the skill-based matchmaking? Yes. But it's more beneficial to them or you if you're one of those people who are watching this, which if you're watching this YouTube video, I expect you're probably a little above you know, the average player, or like the above like the player who only plays like an hour or 2 hours a day or every other day or whatever. You're probably above them if you're watching this YouTube video. So, you know, take this with a grain of salt or whatever, like, cause you're probably gonna feel like the opposite of what like a low player, a person who only plays like an hour or two every other day, when they get input into the skill-based matchmaking, right? I've seen this a lot. I've seen this with, you know, with myself. I've seen it with way better players, especially on the COD side. I feel like it's still some of this, and you know, I play Destiny 2 a lot. I still swear there's skill-based matchmaking, because how it works, right? You play a few games, right? So if you do good, if you do like really good for like your first 2-3 games being on, right? Those games are going to be like those games are more random, but after you get done with those games, they decide where you should be on a team and who should be on your team, right? So like those first couple games, right? You could be like top of your team or whatever, but you're gonna have like 2, 3, 4 other players on your team that those other players and you done basically like the same performance. They did just as good as you, and you did just as good as them, right? And let's say you win those games. So you play those games, those first 2-3 games, been hopping on. If you notice, especially in COD, it does this in Destiny 2. It would break up the teams because, well, you did too good. So they break up the teams. Now they're going to place you, especially if you did the best on the squad like before, they're going to expect you to carry. So you can be a 2.0k player KD player, right? You're going to be on top of your team. Then they're going to put ones and point ones or point twos on your teams and expect you to carry them. So the game expects you, and the algorithm expects you to carry 5 or 4 other players on your team, because it may be one other player who's decent, maybe on your level, or maybe slightly under your level, but the 4 other players are going to be way worse than y'all. And on the opposite team, oh my gosh, on the opposite team, it's going to be a 2 KD player with a 3, and maybe like 2, like in the other 4 are going to be 1.5 KDs and stuff. You see what I'm getting? It's very unbalanced. Like, once you start playing more and start getting a little bit better, the game, I heard this a lot, especially shout out to Marksman. I'm Marksman. These games, they just punish you. They punish you when you get better. What's the word I'm looking for? From getting better to getting better? I don't know. They punish you. It's like the game doesn't want you to get better. It wants you do actually to perform better and get better at the game. You get punished for it. The lower bracket doesn't notice that at all, because they're always either the one getting carried or they're just getting pooped on most of the time, and they're just okay with that. Or it's a mixture of both, like they're getting carried while they're getting pooped on, like because they have a way better player on their team. Like, they're over here a 0.5, and the person on their team is a 3 point something. So the game is trying to balance the top player and stuff, and it's putting worse players on the bottom player, like those people who only play 1 or 2 hours a day. I mean, or every other day. They're getting stuck with this high KD player, and now they have to go against a 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 1.6 player, on another team. How's that working out for the lower player? And yes, the more experienced player, the more higher you are, of course you're not gonna really notice it. You're gonna stay on because you're used to going through like those 1 to 2 easy games, and like your 5 other games you're just sweating your dick off. You're just sweating your fucking balls off. By the end of the day, or the end of the fucking 3 games, you don't have balls because they're gone. Because you've been sweating so fucking much, And I love how they're just trying to justify it. Like, if I would hop on now onto Call of Duty, I'm just going to say Call of Duty right now, I may have a good, decent game for like my first game on. My second game on, I might have a decent game. Then after that, it's going to get very hard and very, very sweaty. I'm just talking way too much. I'm sorry, but I feel strongly about skill-based matchmaking, because I remember the time where games didn't have skill-based matchmaking. Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, 3, Black Ops 1 and 2, like, they did not have skill-based matchmaking. You could stay in the lobby, like they didn't break the lobbies up at all. So like, if you did get your ass kicked, well, you can learn from your opponent, from that other player kicking your ass, because you could stay in the same game. It's your choice if you want to stay in that game and maybe get better, or maybe keep getting your ass kicked. It's your choice. these new games, they don't give you a choice at all. Oh, wait, you're way too good? Huh. Let's break this team up. Let's put a 2.5 KD player and a 3.1 with a 1.7 KD player on the opposite team. Let's give you 0.5, 0.7, 1.0 on your team. Okay, you work with that. You think you're so good. That's you try to have 5 other people who are just weighing you down and don't know how to shoot their guns,
In the order they're in. I don't actually know exactly what skills-based matchmaking means in this context.
Yeah, I got you.
And why anybody would be upset about it.
Sure.
Hit me.
So completely
Oh my God.
non-skills-based matchmaking. It's not really matchmaking, but like completely non would just be like pub servers back in the day. You have a dedicated server list. You jump into whatever server's there. You're playing with those players. The complete matchmaking version of that would just be filling random lobbies with people automatically, but based on
FIFO.
nothing. Yeah, exactly. First in, first out. Skills-based matchmaking would be that you would have some type of like MMR, a matchmaking ranking. And in this case, it would probably be hidden. So you don't necessarily know what your matchmaking ranking is, but it's
and that's one of the problems right there. It's hidden out of sight. At least I don't care about having skill-based matchmaking in ranked or something. You can see your stats, you can see what rank you are. It makes sense. But in pubs, it does not make sense. It is not fun. Once you start getting better, it's a pain. It sucks. I don't, or maybe you don't want to sweat every game or every other 2 games, and maybe you're just one of those players who always gets your ass kicked. You don't want to get your ass kicked.
going to match you up with people that are similar to your ranking as best as it can.
Okay, so then follow-up question. Who the actual donkey fuck thinks that skills-based matchmaking is a bad idea?
Good people. Good people. That's who thinks skill-based matchmaking is garbage and sucks, Linus. Just to let you know, that's who thinks. Like, I'm pretty sure you work, you have a business to take care of, you do YouTube videos and everything, not about games, about computers and stuff. So you don't play a lot. So when you do hop onto a game, maybe it's easy for you, The skill-based matchmaking is made for casuals and stuff and everything. But that's the problem. They want these people to stick around, don't they? Activision, Microsoft now, they want the people to stick around and play their game more and longer, But it sucks when, you hop onto the game and after an hour or so, after 2 hours, your games are just unbearable. Either you get so good that you're, like I said, you're facing all these high KD players on your team, then everybody else is lower on your team. You may be a little bit better, you may be way better than all the people on your team. So you're over here trying to fight 5 other people, and your team is just dying so much, and it seems like they don't know what they're doing. And after a while, once these casual players and people who want to play more than an hour every other day, longer they play, better they get, they're not going to want to play anymore because they're sweaty. It's just these lobbies get so sweaty. It's just, it pushes people away after a while.
I think
is this not complete? Is this controversial? Is this a hot take?
There are
Yes, this is dog water take, Linus. dog water.
I don't know if it's a hot take for the actual average person necessarily, but there is definitely a loud amount of people that don't like skills-based matchmaking. I know that.
For what reason exactly?
I don't know necessarily. I can think of I think it would be maybe hard unless the matchmaking rank that you have is public. Which I know some people don't like that because then they feel like they're constantly playing ranked, which you technically are.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Like if you don't want to see like your rank or whatever, or like where you should place, like out of like ranked, like, and if you're scared that you see that and you constantly just feel like you're playing ranked, well, sorry to tell you, you are playing ranked always. That's how skill-based matchmaking works. You're always playing ranked.
But unless it's public, to me, a negative feeling that could come from it is that you feel like you're constantly on this treadmill of skill, where you never really feel like you're getting that much better compared to other people, because the game is constantly pairing you with people that are of the same goodness, I guess.
Right. So by their logic, anyone should be.
That's not the problem. That is not the problem. Like, yes, I'm fine going against somebody equal skilled than me. The problem is people do not understand. I'm gonna go back to Marksman, because I watch a lot of his Call of Duty videos and stuff. And a lot of good players like him will understand this. The problem is not going against players the same skill as you. The problem is going against players as the same skill as you and having no one on your team on your level or on their level on the opposite team. You get what I'm saying? If you get what I'm saying, leave a comment. But like, it would be fine. It would be totally fine. You know, let's say I'm a 2 KD player. All right? Then they put me against a 2 KD player. That is perfectly fine. I'll be even all right with a person a little bit better than me. That is fine. This is not the issue. The issue comes in, right, when you have another 2 KD player, 1.9 player, a 1.7 player on this team. Then on my team, you have me as a 2. You have 0.5, 0.1, 0.3 on my team. Now you see where this is kind of unbalanced, right? That's the problem. That is the problem. Why casuals don't understand that. I mean, but I don't see how they don't understand that, because sometimes they're the players on my team or whoever's team, you know. So these 0.1 players, 0.5 players are getting whooped on because there's like 3 or 4 other players that are on my skill level whooping their ass. And I'm over here trying to fight 2 or 3 players on my skill level, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher, but they're closer to my skill level. So I'm over here trying to fight 3 or 4 of them and getting no help because nobody's that good on my team. I hope you know, Luke and Linus understand this, and I know they're probably never going to see this video at all, but hopefully they do, and I'm explaining it, you know, good enough.
be allowed to be in the Olympic freestyle swimming finals? And if one person happens to be really good, then like, and one person can barely swim, that's like, are you entertained by this? Like, sorry, what?
I do think every Olympics should have like.
No, that's not the thing. Okay, Matt, Linens is trying to make an example of the Olympics. Okay, let's say the Olympics, swimming, okay? There's 4 rounds, right? Let's say 4 or 5 rounds, right? So those first 2 rounds you do very good, right? You do very good, you win gold medal, you win gold. Okay, then the judges or whoever decide, they're like, oh well, he's very good. Now I'm trying to put this where it makes sense. Okay, let's say, look, I'm your average swimmer, right? I do pretty good on my first 2 rounds, and I get like gold. So the judges or whoever, they're like, oh well, he did very good. Let's oh my god, I cannot talk. Maybe because I'm getting a little frustrated. Let's go ahead and put him against the best swimmer in the world that broke records. Like, let's say I didn't break any records or anything. I'll just semi better than the other people. I just happened to get gold. I was a little bit better than those people. So now they're going to say, hey, let's put him against the best player who's ever done it. They broke records and everything. Let's put him against that person. Well, it's going to be more than him. It's going to be him, then the person who came second to him, then the person who came third to him, right? So these people are way better than me. So they're just gonna blow me out. So that's the 3rd round. I just get blown out. Well, 4th round, I just get blown out again. Well, this isn't very fun. Like, can I at least get people on my level or people close to my level? So at least like the 4th or 2nd, like the 2nd and 3rd place can be interesting, The 5th one, I get blown out, but I do a little bit better because there's a one person who's kind of on my level, But after those 2 games, it wasn't very fun because it got very, very sweaty, It's not like, oh my god, it's hard. It's hard to explain like why skill-based matchmaking isn't good, and especially hard to explain to people who don't really play Twitch shooters or like competitive games like that, who only play for like an hour every other day. It's hard to explain to them because they won't understand because they're not that good and they don't play that much. But once they do start playing more and start getting better, they're going to be in our shoes to people who complain.
An army of like Jim Bobs that are just like average dudes, and they just show them alongside the Olympians to like show the gap. I would actually like. I know this is not an original idea. People have been saying this for years. I would love it if it happened because like you see these people perform and you're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like maybe this is some sport I've never seen before, or like I never really understood the gap. Like you see someone dive and they have like 3 droplets come out of the water, and you're like, is that good? And then you see some like random random dude just flop, just like a huge wave, and you're like, oh, okay, so there's actually like there's difficulty here. I think that would be fantastic. But anyways, I don't really get the argument. I prefer skills-based matchmaking.
Like,
so
and the thing is, I honestly speaking, like
because he's a noob.
To me, this is
he's a person who doesn't play.
I'm so sorry if it. I sound like such an asshole sometimes because, sometimes things just seem really obvious to me, and then I say, like, "Isn't this obvious?" And then people are like, "Wow, Linus is mean. That wasn't obvious."
I wouldn't say you're mean. You're just ignorant.
Skill-based matchmaking that makes things less interesting to me personally, for sure.
But okay, well, hold on. Let me back up for a second because maybe part of it is just my lived experiences that make this obvious to me. There's a local badminton tournament. It's called Badmintology, and they usually do about 2 to 4 tournaments a year. And that's what I signed up for when I did my very first badminton competition. And they had they're gamers, they're memers, it's a young group that runs it. And so the way that they divided their brackets was blue shell, red shell, and green shell. And the description was blue shell is for competitive players at a very high level, like if you've ever competed provincially or nationally, so basically
this is Mario Kart.
You should be in here. Yeah, exactly.
Blue shell.
Red shell was if you play regularly and compete hard, and green shell was for if you are just getting into the sport.
Hold on. Okay, badminton. Okay, it's that sport that's kind of like I spelled it wrong, but okay. Okay, it's kind of like that sport that's kind of like tennis, but you got like the ball in. I'll show you. Hold on. Okay, because this is a good example too. And god damn it, this sport. Okay, it's kind of like tennis, right? You have like your. It's really kind of like an easier form of tennis. This is easier because I'm pretty sure the ball doesn't move that fast. But yeah, okay. So this is what he's talking about.
And you're looking for a friendly competition. I signed up for green shell because that was a description of me. I was playing every week, but I'd only really been doing it for 6 months to a year or something like that. I showed up for my first match, got absolutely f***ing shit wrecked by someone who was sandbagging in a lower tier. And I guess for me, what I realized from that experience was that that's not fun. I didn't have fun. Did they have fun? Like honestly, okay, here's a good example. Would Magnus Carlsen have fun, like destroying my son at chess?
Have you seen some of his, he puts a blindfold on and then plays 5 people at the same time?
That's totally different.
It's so sick. No, I know.
Because I'm talking about
sick.
in what is supposed to be
I think it would be really boring.
A level match.
I'm sure it would be.
And if he did get some kind of perverse pleasure out of that,
I doubt it.
Would we think that that's cool or admirable?
No.
Would it be fun for,
No, we don't. Good players, we don't get pleasure out of that. We just want stuff to be equal. Like I said, it would be fine if me or somebody else were going. I'm a 2KD player, and I'm going against a 2KD player, and everybody else are the same level or lower or whatever. 2KD player going to get each other than the rest are ones, or the rest of them are 1.7s or whatever, 1.5s. That is totally fine. But once it gets lopsided, is I'm a 2KD player and they put me against a 2KD player, then on his team is another 2KD player, then below that one is a fucking 1.7, 1.8 player. Then on my team, I'm a 2 and I have a 1.5, 0.4, 1.0 on my team. We're Where does that seem like it's fair? That is not fucking fair. And I have to go through fucking two or three games like that, just sweating my balls off trying to keep up and try to carry these other players. And it's probably not fun for the bottom players on my team because they're getting their ass stomped out too. It's just not fun. This is where it's not fun. Skill-based matchmaking sucks ass. You know? And lower players, they may notice it a little bit, but you know, they may go through that game with me. Then the next game, they're getting people, everybody in the lobby are their skill level, or maybe a little bit worse, to make them look better, you know?
If you and I'm not talking about him taking the time to give a tutorial on, you know, what he was doing and why, and I'm talking in competition, because we're talking about this in a competitive gaming context, right, where people are competing to win. How could anyone look at that and go,
but it's not always in a competitive setting, it's just in pubs. You have to sweat your balls off in pubs, Linus. That's what you're not getting. It would be totally, I would understand if it was just in ranked or some ranked kind of mode or whatever. Totally fine. That'd be totally fine. But it's in pubs and it sucks ass. Yes, I get to do good and won't have to like really sweat my balls off and always play against the meta, you know, play against or, you know, play with the meta too. Which that's not fun. That's why everybody just plays with the meta.
oh, yes,
I'm
that
sorry,
is
I'm
good
getting
and
a little-
honorable and enjoyable.
He's just not getting
I
it.
have always said, and a lot of this was inspired by my experience in that first tournament, where someone who had absolutely no right to be in green shell, but it was self-assessed, right? So they just decided that they were going to be green shell because they want.
If Linus ever see this video, I'm sorry, I'm yelling, getting a little bit loud, but I feel very passionate because I'm your above average player. I'm a little bit competitive, you know, so like it sucks just to see like when I'm doing very, very good and I keep losing games. I lose 5 games in a row, not because of my own fault, because I'm playing the objective. I'm getting kills, but everybody else on my team are not playing the objective. They're not getting any kills. They're getting 5 kills and having 15 to 20 to 30 deaths. That's not fun. I would be totally fine with that if it was in ranked or some competitive mode, but it's not. It's just in pubs. Sorry.
Right?
I'm not mad.
Is that
I like you, Linus.
valuable? I mean, we mock participation trophies, but you're basically self-opting into a participation trophy for yourself by like competing in the kids league. Like, what's wrong with you?
I think you have some long-term resentment over this this particular occasion.
Well, it's not the resentment. It's a desire to fix it.
No, I know. I'm just bugging.
Like I will tell people all the time, I would rather lose a match 25-23 than win.
You want good games.
21-4.
Yeah, someone tried to bring up Fast Philly said some people do love that stuff. Remember Tarkov, and I don't necessarily think that's true for Tarkov. I understand what you're trying to get at, but like when I used to play, if you could tell, like you can see in Tarkov the level of the person that you took down, and if they were a low-level player, I wouldn't necessarily automatically do this. But I would, if they're a low-level player, I would look at the kit that they brought in and be like, is this a low-level player who's played a lot, but just they didn't go super hard this season?
Yeah.
Or is this actually a new player? And if it was a new player, I'd throw all their stuff in a bush so they get it back in insurance. Because like I actually I'm not like super proud of that W, you know?
Yeah.
But I think sometimes like some things that I do like about not skill-based matchmaking is like if I think about playing TF2 most of these are going to come from TF2.
Sure.
But I think about playing TF2 back in the day, especially with really big lobby games. If it's like a 5 versus 5, I can't think of many scenarios where I liked non-skill-based matchmaking. But big lobby games, you'd find like the one good person on the other team, and even if you weren't doing that well. trying to like hunt that person down had a very deep level of satisfaction to it. Like maybe I'm not doing that great in the game, but if I can impact this game by taking down their star player every once in a while through like certain weird type of gameplay, then that's like really fun to me. I think there's emergent types of gameplay. I think there's emergent interactions that happen from mixing pot instead of skill-based matchmaking. And I think there's a little bit of forever treadmill that comes from skill-based matchmaking that I think might be like part of this story is that 90% of players had a lower overall playtime when it wasn't skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah.
And I don't know personally that all of that is just because they enjoyed the game more. I would say that as much as I do think skill-based matchmaking is in general better, I suspect some of that increased playtime is because of the forever treadmill of I'm always slightly behind.
Sure.
You never had a game where you were number one. You never these things didn't really happen because the game is designed to not really allow that to happen.
Sure.
No.
So I don't know. I understand why some people might think it's negative.
Yeah.
Personally, I think overall it is more positive.
I do see a lot of people talking about how, like, what if I, just want to relax and play a game for fun without trying too hard? And it's like, right, but the issue is that you're playing a competitive game. So the other team, they don't have the luxury of deciding, oh, I'm down, I'll just try and win. And so it's not about you. It's about everybody having an opportunity to win.
But they don't get that opportunity.
And that to me, I mean, that's the foundational core of competition. If one side,
I guess little players do get that opportunity, but like I said, they want these players to keep playing their game and everything, and for people to want to keep playing the game, it's somewhere in their head they want to get better. But more they play, more they do get better, more they see how much they get punished for getting better. At some point, they're just going to want to leave.
Would you tune into a sporting event?
I think that's why the TF2 examples stand out to me, is because as much as I am definitely tryharding, because I just sort of do that all the time and everything, but in TF2 it is much more of like an arcade game.
Yeah.
A huge lobby, because I'm used to like 16 versus 16 arcade style gameplay, and then that's where you're going to get a lot more of those emergent cases where you can like headhunt the top players and all this other type of stuff.
But in TF2, just through the sheer law of numbers, unless people are being complete,
and
jackasses,
and it's going to average out a lot better.
The chances of it averaging out, it's also a more chaotic game.
Yeah.
There is absolutely skill in Team Fortress 2.
Totally.
But there's also absolutely stepping on a bomb just because it just was flung across the map. It happens, right? And so I think that TF2 is an example of a game where, as long as people are not maliciously, intentionally stacking the teams, then it's not nearly as much of an issue. But honestly, I'm so glad you brought that up, because we all know that team stacking is a dick thing to do. And essentially, when you argue against skills-based matchmaking, you're saying, well, I should be allowed to be on a stacked team.
Yeah, I don't feel like it happened that much in TF2 though. I think across the board.
I don't know if I feel about that with team stacking. I mean, because you just want to play. You just want to play with people who you want to play with. So happens they may be good or even better than you or whatever. See, I don't care about team stacking, right? I'm just saying, I shouldn't be going. That's so different from skill-based matchmaking, right? I'm a solo player. I'm just your average guy who maybe I may have another friend that plays COD or something with me when I get off of work, but he plays just as much as me. We're about on the same skill level. We shouldn't be going against a 5-stack or 6-stack. No, let other 6 stacks or a 6 stack go against a 6 stack, or no 5 stack, vice versa, whatever, or like a 6 stack go against a 4 stack or something like that. I don't know if I really like that, because if you're a solo player, you may get stuck on that four stack. Try to match it up. I it shouldn't be like a 6 stack versus like a bunch of like solo players, or like you know a team of two, and like uh and like four other like players. I've like team stacking and skill based matchmaking is different. It probably happens, but it's a little different.
But in certain games, like in COD, it probably does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a very good argument against skill-based matchmaking in COD, but I do think there's other games where it's genuinely fun.
There's no way that I would play Halo Infinite without skills-based matchmaking. It would be a complete waste of time. A top-level player is on such a different level that they would just wipe the other team, grab the flag.
And that's my point exactly. How often do you think he plays Halo? Linus, let me know. How often do you play Halo Infinite? Like when I get on, and when I do really have like, I don't play Halo Infinite, but I know if I really got into it, and I mean, I still have it on my PC. I still update it and everything because I like Halo. I get my. I'm probably your average player. I'm probably the same. I'm probably on the same level as you, Linus. But I understand if I do start getting better, skill-based matchmaking, it's gonna be a pain, because imagine this, right? I start playing Halo Infinite and really, really try to get good at it. So my KD is getting better and better and better. Now, I used to play with you, Linus. Let's say that. I didn't really. But I used to play with you, right? And you didn't play that often because you had to work a lot. You got your YouTube channels, you got your business, you got all this to worry about. So, let's say months go by, or a year goes by, whatever. I got way better. I'm way better at Halo Infinite. I got a 2-something KD, man. I'm just styling. Then we try to link up and play together, and you haven't been playing that much, but remember, you don't mind the skill-based matchmaking, right? So me and you play together. We hop into a lobby, but the lobby is trying to balance the lobby because of me. I have a 2.3 KD. I'm really decent at Halo. So now, on the opposite team, we have a 2 KD player, a 2.0, 2.4, a 1.9. So all those players are better than you and the other teammates, but they're on the same level as me. So who is that not going to be fun for? Okay? So now I'm trying to fight 5 to 6 other players that you and our other teammates can't. They just can't win gunfights against them. So who's that fun for? Well, it's not fun for me trying to carry you all, and it's not fun for y'all because you can't win a gunfight. And because you can't win a gunfight, well, fuck, I'm dying a lot because I'm just getting double teamed, triple teamed. That is not fun. That's how the skill-based matchmaking works. Now, the next game, just because we all just got our ass kicked, the next game may be easier because that's how skill-based matchmaking works. Now, we're probably going to do a little bit better or way better. But the next game, I'm going to do way better than you and our 4 to 5 other teammates. So now it's going to put us in another lobby that's on my level. Then it's that cycle, you know? Then where's this fun for me, you know? Now, you don't want to play with me, you know? And I feel bad for you because you're getting your ass kicked. It's not fun for anybody.
Drop it, wipe them when they respawn, and carry it back. Like, it's not... Are they having fun? And if they are, like, what's wrong with them? You know? I'm sorry. I definitely see how there are formats where skills-based matchmaking might not make that much sense. I mean, even coming back to Halo Infinite, the one semi-competitive game I guess I play that actually has what MMR.
See, semi. So he doesn't play much Twitch competitive shooters like that. So should he actually be talking about this? No, I feel like not everybody should speak on stuff. Not everybody.
I guess is what our player. What's the player ranking?
It depends sort of on how it's being handled, but
Yeah.
if you say MMR, most people know what you mean.
Yeah, so it's probably the one game I play these days that actually has like a persistent MMR that chases you across all the different formats. But if you're playing big team battle, yeah, I could see them playing a little faster and looser with it.
Yeah.
Because things are just sort of generally more chaotic. But if you're playing like a 4v4 format, one person being out of whack completely destroys the gameplay experience for everyone, including themselves, whether they realize it or not.
I just thought of another argument that might come up for the anti-skill-based matchmaking crowd is that some games do lock you out from being able to play with your friends if there's too much of a gap.
Yeah.
I know that used to be a thing.
And that's a bummer, but like the answer to that is just allowing user servers, right? Like the answer to that is not to not have an MMR and not have skills-based matchmaking.
In my opinion, that combination of dedicated user servers and skill-based matchmaking is the absolute prime.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to play with your friends or you shouldn't be allowed to.
But why would these developers do that? Then there'd be no need for the skill-based matchmaking servers at all. So, like, a lot of them aren't going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Luke and Joe and I would lobby up with my son when he's getting kind of sweaty, actually.
I was gonna say he's probably better now. Every
Yeah.
time I play with him, he's a little better.
I know, but we would lobby up with him, and we would know that we're gonna have to carry him, and that the matchmaking is gonna be a little bit weird
it's fine.
because I'm gonna go probably. Well, I'm all over the place. I'll be anywhere. I'll be anywhere from like sub 1-1 to like 4-1, depending on how things are going for me. Anyway,
Genuinely pretty confusing.
doesn't matter. The point is that Luke and Joe are both really good. I'm this X factor, and then my son's was gonna go like 1 in 15 or whatever. So we knew that was gonna happen. And I would never argue that you shouldn't be allowed to play the game you want to play it. But there's a time and a place, and you have to understand why these systems are in place, and that it's not about you. It's about creating an environment where everybody has a fair chance to win. And bad skills-based ranking, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like if you've got skills-based matchmaking and you're being dumped time and time again into matches where you are getting absolutely just destroyed. It could be one of two problems.
That's most of the time, though.
Their skills-based ranking system is not very good, or it could be three problems. It could be that the servers are really light, and that.
See, that's the problem. See, you can tell like they do not play competitive games. Like, okay. This is the last time. I'm done with this video, but you can tell like they don't play competitive Twitch, shooters like that, because what he's talking about right now is most of the games. It would be fine if it was ranked or, a competitive game mode, but most of the time it's just in everything. I don't want to sweat my ass off in a regular match. If I want to start sweating my balls off, let me go to ranked or some competitive game mode.
They just don't have a lot of options for matching things up.
That happens.
But problem number 3 is that you could have run into 3 assholes who are playing on Smurf accounts and are ruining the system for everyone.
Yeah.
So
But the Smurf accounts don't last that long. If they keep doing that on the Smurf account, their KDs and games are gonna look better, and they're gonna get put into the regular lobbies that they left before.
To me,
Doesn't make any sense. What are you
problem
talking about?
so often it's not the game, but the gamers.
Yeah.
No.
I think if everyone in good faith engages in a skills-based matchmaking system, I think it can work really well. I think you especially run into trouble if people are not.
Okay, I'm done. Because Linus, I just hope, I probably don't have time, but I just hope you see this video. That's all I have to say. I just hope you see this video, because I can clearly tell, like, you don't play shooters, FPS, competitive FPS, Twitch shooters like that often. And that is fine. But I feel like your opinion really, I want to be nice because I really do like you, but really doesn't. I mean, I guess I really can't say it doesn't matter, because that would be like saying, like, the average player skill based the average player opinion on this doesn't matter, but they matter too. I feel like everybody opinions matter on it, but I feel like the people in the middle and the higher tier people matter more, because these lower skill players, they probably want to get better at some point and be on the same levels as the middle players and the better players. But once they start climbing up there, they're going to see how much it sucks to actually get that good and actually be that good. It just fucking sucks ass. Okay, I'm done. Thank you. Thank you for watching.